Hello, I'm back with my 2026 bullet journal setup. For this year, or at least the beginning of it, I'll be using a journal from Notebook Therapy. Specifically, this is the Origami Dreams edition from their Journey in Japan line. It has a linen cover and 160 GSM paper. If you can't tell already, the theme for this setup will be Studio Ghibli, more specifically My Neighbor Totoro and Spirited Away. These are probably on the top of my list if I have to say favorites from Ghibli Studio. And also, this is what I have bought the most stationery supplies with, so that's why they're the focus. The cover page is inspired by the title sequence of My Neighbor Totoro, specifically where Mei and Chibi Totoro are walking across the log as Tonari na Totoro is playing. I kept this simple by using a zebra mild liner. Because of the overlapping nature that you get when you do it several times, I just made a rectangle and used that to give the texture of a log. All the Chibi Totoro stickers you see are actually memo pad stickers, so you're actually supposed to write on top of them, but I thought they're too cute to use like that, so mimicking the original title card, I just put them as if they're marching across the screen, making sure not to have the same ones next to each other. So using the same mild liner, I freehanded the 2026 for the cover page, referencing the hand-drawn font from the original title cards. The 2026 did not stand out enough for me, especially with the Susu Watari or Soot Sprites washi tape that I had. So I decided to go over and give it a partial border using my current favorite pen, which is the Zebra Sorasa clip pen. Even though I'm not somebody who draws all this stuff in their bullet journal, I still like adding that kind of hand-drawn element into it, especially in reference to the original work. Next, I'll be using these Ghibli schedule seals. Last year, I was able to visit both the Ghibli Park and Ghibli Museum in Japan. One of the things I remember most from those visits is how many tiny details were hidden throughout both of those locations. I wanted to incorporate that idea into this setup, so I used the schedule seals as those tiny elements, and you will see it throughout this entire setup. Here I'm creating my year at a glance. These square stickers come from a 100 yen store in Japan called Seria. Daiso is probably the most well-known of the 100 yen stores outside of Japan, but I highly recommend checking out Seria too for stationery. Here I'm using the Sarasa clip pen again to write all the days of the month. In regards to the color palette, I decided to flip back and forth between using colors from My Spirited Away and colors from My Neighbor Totoro. For My Neighbor Totoro, I concentrated on using a lot of blues and a lot of greens, and for Spirited Away, I used a lot of yellows and a lot of reds. I started the setup with basically no plan at all, so it was very interesting just following whatever I felt I wanted to do throughout this entire setup. Partially it was due to me not having any time due to life events, and secondarily it was due to me being worried about how to utilize the stationery I collected from my favorite movies well. It's the idea of, oh, this stationery is so precious, so I should save it for the right time to use it, but then when does the right time actually come, or the perfect idea actually come? Sometimes it's the worry about skill, where you're like, I don't know enough about design, I don't know enough about how to use the stationery properly so it looks good, and the only way to really improve that type of skill is actually by creating a lot of spreads. I think the idea of improvement of yourself has been on my mind lately, and I've come to realize that the only way to improve is to try. Whether or not you succeed and fail every time you try, it is more experience, and experience is what makes you better. If you recognize these dot stickers, yes, I've used them in several spreads before. I am still trying to get rid of them, but I've managed to use quite a bit in this setup. One thing I would say about this entire setup is the layouts are actually quite similar, if not the same, to many of my previous journals. But the way I decide to represent borders, or write titles, or write dates, those are the changes that reflect how I believe I have improved in design and develop my own taste in how I like my bullet journal to be set up. And in the end of the day, I'm the one that has to be using this every day, so it actually has to be practical for me. I will apologize slightly for the fact that this is not the most aesthetically pleasing way of doing bullet journaling, as I'm flipping back and forth constantly, just adding things here and there. But because this was an unplanned setup, this is just how it goes. Now I'm creating my All the World's a Stage spread, or my theater tracking spread. All it is me writing out every single play, musical, or theater show that I've been to. Ironically, Totoro and Spirited Away are the two Ghibli films that have stage adaptations. I want to eventually see both of them in person, but I have seen the Spirited Away one via recording. The most recent play I have seen is the Harry Potter and Cursed Child in Tokyo. I've seen the two-part version when I was living in London, so I decided to take the opportunity to see this version while I was in Tokyo. I actually liked the longer version better because there was a lot of things that they cut out in the shorter version that I felt detracted from the story, especially the relationship between Draco and Scorpius, if you know the show, but it was still a lot of fun. Just a note, if you're interested in seeing the Tokyo version, it is ending this year, 2026. Other shows I've seen include both the Korean and Japanese versions of the Death Note musical. Both countries were doing 10th year anniversary performances. I just happened to be in each country while they're doing it, so I was able to see both of them. I also have seen things like The Lion King, Mary Poppins, Phantom of the Opera, Les Mis. I also seen a lot of 2.5 shows, which are manga or anime that are made into stage adaptations, which includes Bleach, Spy X Family, and technically Death Note. I think the current count is over 50 shows in 4 different countries. I do have a tendency to start rambling when I talk about theater, and this video is about bullet journaling, so I'll stop rambling about it for now, but let me know if you're interested in hearing more. Here I'm creating my 101 things that I did spread and 101 things that I do spread. The did spread is 101 things that I have done throughout this year that I just found interesting or wanted to remember or celebrate in some sense. This includes perhaps things I really wanted to eat or new foods I've tried, shows or exhibits I've been to. Essentially, it's a bunch of things that I just want to remember. The do spread is a bucket list. It's all the things that I am hoping to do, all written down in one location. I don't actually have a full list of 101 things that I want to do, but what it has been most helpful with is just having a place to write down all the tiny things I keep on thinking of that, oh, I would like to do that one day, and actually having it somewhere where I can reference. Even though I'm not showing you the entire process of making both the did and do spreads, they are the same, except one is themed to Spirited Away and one is themed to Totoro. Now I'm drawing a bunch of tiny soot sprites all over my spreads. They're one of the easiest things to draw. Essentially, you just make a spiky circle, then you add 2 circles in the middle of it, color in the gap between the eyes and the edges. You can shape it so if it doesn't look round enough, you can just spike it because it's all black, and then you just add the eyes, and there you go, you have a soot sprite. I think this is a good time to mention that I have a vlog up of my visit to Ghibli Museum, and eventually I will have a vlog up for my visit to Ghibli Park. So if you like Ghibli like me, I highly recommend go checking the one that is out now, and once the other one comes out eventually. Now I'm creating the spread to track some of the projects I am doing for my stash busting series. Realistically speaking, this is not to track every single project I do, it's just to track the longer and especially the bigger projects I'm doing, so that way I don't have 1,000 different projects in 1,000 different places. I at least have a reference sheet for it. If you're wondering where I got all the Ghibli stickers, they are primarily from the Donguri Republic store when I was in Japan. There are also some that I bought from the GBL store, which is the sister store of Donguri Republic. And then some of it I bought when I was both at the museum and at the park. Most of the stationery is not specific to those locations, but if you're in Japan, they're probably the most convenient places to buy Ghibli stationery. Here's my completed 2026 bullet journal setup. Please let me know what you think in the comments. Please subscribe if you want to see more of my bullet journaling videos in the future. The next setup video will actually be for March, so look forward to that being on the channel soon.